Yeah, my name's Bob Grimstead. I'm building a flybaby after a lifetime of aviation, really. I started flying 55 years ago. I have been an aviation journalist for 35 years. I was an airline pilot for 33 years, overlapping that time. And since I retired for the last 15, 16 years, I've been an air display pilot. So I do a bit of everything that involves flying airplanes. The Flybaby is an all-wood airplane in the sense that the primary components are made of wood. It was designed and built for an Experimental Aircraft Association competition in 1962. It won the design award, and probably 500 of them have been made since, maybe 600. I think something like 5,000 sets of plans have been sold, but of course not all those plans result in a completed aeroplane. It's a delightful airplane to fly. I've flown about 250 types of aircraft, and it's definitely up there in the top 10. I liken it to the Belgian Stomp or the Canadian Chipmunk in having classic handling qualities, beautifully coordinated controls. They're light, but not too light as to make it skittish. It's extremely responsive, and of course, being an open cockpit single seat airplane, it's just sheer fun. I've flown several of them over the years. I flew one for an aviation article back in the 90s, both as a monoplane and as a biplane, and I enjoyed it so much. When the opportunity to buy one came up in 2002, I bought that. I operated that for a few years in combination with my mate Rick. We shared it between us for a while. Then eventually he bought out my share. I bought an aerobatic single-seater, concentrated on that, and then Rick sold the Flybaby, and we've both regretted that ever since. So when this one came up as a kit, well, not a kit, as a whole bunch of components, and the building of the fuselage had been started, but the guy stalled. He needed to sell it. So I and another friend, Mark, were happy to buy it, and I'm building it. Mark is a silent partner at the moment until he's able to retire and join in. The first Flybaby, it was all silver when I bought it, and it looked such like a classic First War aeroplane, but it had no embellishments at all, just the registration on the side. And I thought that would look great if I painted that in 1919, 1920 type Royal Air Force markings. So that's what I did. I got the help of my fellow aviation journalist and aircraft historian Mike Jerram to get the dimensions of the roundels and the proportions of the fin or rudder flashes correct. I was born in Bristol, so I thought it should be a Bristol type. Obviously it couldn't be the Bristol Fighter or the Bristol Bullet because they existed, but the Bristol Bullet was also an exterior braced monoplane, and this airplane looks so, in my mind, vaguely similar to the Bristol Bullet. I thought I'd call it a Bristol something, and then I had to think of something beginning with B that suggested it was a joke, so I called it the Bristol Balderdash. I think I might be calling this second one the Bristol Bamboozle. Well, the original Balderdash has been bought by friends Andrew and Shirley. Andrew's turning it from a monoplane into a biplane and doing a complete rebuild on it as well because it's 30 or 35 years old. So he no longer needed the monoplane wings, so I was able to negotiate the purchase of them from him. So with an almost finished fuselage, or at least the wood parts of the fuselage were finished, and completed wings, which will need inspection, refurbishment and overhaul, but we're a long way towards having all the components for the finished airplane. The airplane I bought came with an engine and a whole bunch of nuts and bolts and other things, some of which we'll be able to use, some of which we shan't be able to use. We shall have to buy other stuff, but at the moment we've got the major portion of a completable airplane. I've just got to put all the work in to complete it. The fact that it's an old tech design, the whole point of the EAA contest was to have a design that could be built in a single car garage with ordinary hand tools, and it's possible to build this airplane like that as well. I have a bandsaw, a linisher, bench grinder, angle grinder, a few other obviously electric drills, which are commonplace now and weren't as commonplace in 1962. So all those things will make the building of it easier. It isn't a kit plane in the sense that many modern manufacturers sell kits with, particularly metal kits, with holes already punched in the wing skins. You just have to pop rivet them all together. What I say just, it's still a big job to build any kind of an aeroplane. But this is definitely a start with the plans book and a tree and a saw and take it from there. So this is a much more hands-on sort of a job. People often take 5, 6, 8, 10 years over building a flybaby. Because it was partly started because I'm able to spend 4 or 5 hours every day, I hope it won't take me much longer than 12 to 15 total months, although I shall have to break off in the middle of it. I bought it 5 months ago and so far spent 160 days working on it. No day has been longer than 8 hours. Most days have been 5 or 6 hour days. It should be a pleasure to build an airplane as well as a rush towards getting the airplane completed. I'm hoping to combine fast work with good work. I've got my good friends Bob Hart, Rainer Paik, John Russell and Jacob, whose surname I've forgotten, all helping me with it. So between us all, I hope we can get it done by, let's say, the end of 23.
Up in your own little world, you wouldn't run, you were scared you'd fall. You spent all of your time telling me that I was wrong. When I think about it, I think you've forgotten how to love. Yeah, you've forgotten how to love. You remember when you said that you never leave me, you never do that. Remember when you look back, you had the weight of the whole world on your back. I was someone like you. She'd say I would do anything for you. About your past, you know it always felt so strange. You seem to spend forever saying how something's gonna change. Now that you've moved on, yeah, the damage has been done. You've lost your way, but most of all, you've forgotten how to love. Yeah, you've forgotten how to love. When